Okay, just to recap, when we're running Gradle from IntelliJ, IntelliJ is actually going to be running the Gradle wrapper task in the background. So there's really nice integration with Gradle. This is actually using the Gradle wrapper from the project. That's how IntelliJ behaves by default. You, of course, can change the settings to override that. Now, to actually do that from the command line, let's jump over to terminal now and take a look at the project. And we have two settings here. One is Gradle W and one's Gradle W bat. So for Linux and OS X, it's going to be Gradle W. That's a shell script, bash probably. Actually, double check. So that is a shell script. So regular shell script for Gradle W, nothing special there. And then Gradle bat, that is a batch file for the Windows environments. Being on OS X, I'll be running Gradle W. And through that, I can run a few commands. One is Gradle W clean. Oh, and I need to do /. So we can see that actually runs. I can do clean test. And we can see that actually runs. If I do clean build, that actually clears out my target directory and actually builds the entire project. So there are some distinct differences between Gradle and Maven. The commands are a little bit different, but very, very similar. You can use both of them from the command line. A best practice is probably be using the wrapper. The Gradle community is probably better about using wrappers than Maven, but in either case, it's probably good practice. If the project that includes a wrapper, go ahead and use the wrapper. I know I have a Gradle executable on my system, and it is dreadfully old. I don't want to admit how old it is because I typically use the wrapper included with the project. So that is really the best way to be going. So you have very similar commands there. In this course, I'm not going to be able to go that in depth in the build tools because it's quite a rabbit hole to run down. The focus of the course is on testing and not Maven and Gradle and building Java and Groovy and various JVM projects. So I'm not going to be addressing too much more Gradle or Maven configuration from here, but I wanted you to be aware of how you can execute your tests from the command line. And this is going to be applicable to running it on a CI build server as well. So these are tools that you will need to be executing and building your projects and getting tests and test outputs in an automated way.